Good evening, Facebook family and friends, YouTube family and friends. This is Sheba, and I am your happy bug. And I'm so excited tonight because our topic is one that I'm not sure that many of us think about in the process of having our children and rearing our children. So I'm excited about tonight. I hope you are. So welcome, everyone. We have right now, we have with us LaShondra, but we have a couple more people that's supposed to join us in our time to come. So hopefully we can enjoy each other, and I'm so excited. So since Chandra is the one who's here with us thus far, we're going to jumpstart with Chandra. And the question for the evening is, as women, do we think before we have children with our man? I guess I made a mistake there, so excuse that with our man. And do we think how it affects our children in the interim of it all? So that's going to be our topic for the night. So hopefully we can answer some of those questions that you've had with yourself, the ones that you may never have thought about, and the effects of your children. And so we're looking forward to this great, exciting moment. So we're going to kick off with Chandra. I'm going to let her take the floor, and then I'm right here. So if you have any comments, you can comment here on the right in your comment section of your page. And hopefully we can answer all those questions that you might have had surrounding this topic. So welcome once again. So Chandra, you can kind of start. We'll start with you.
Okay, you can hear me? Yes? Okay. So, well, actually, no. To answer the question, no, I really did not think about how it would affect my first daughter. First of all, I have two daughters. One is my oldest is 13, and my baby girl just turned 11 years old. And you know, I did not think about how it would affect my 13-year-old when I got pregnant with my 11-year-old. You know, first of all, me and my first baby dad, we were really cool, like from kids. So we still do have like a really good relationship. And
Mhm.
for a while, our daughter just went back and forth between the both of us. But then he moved
Mhm.
out of state. So, it was kind of like, I don't really want my daughter living out of state.
Right.
So she pretty much goes to him for the summers and things like that. So, okay, now moving along. When I had my second daughter, it was first of all, my second daughter dad, he's a really great dad. He's a really great dad. He has other kids besides our daughter. They're older. And he just jumped right in there and was like super dad to her, even though not taking anything from her dad because her dad is great, but
Okay.
he just jumped right in and did everything for her. It was times where I did not have anyone. This is even before I had my his daughter. I
Okay.
was working jobs. It was times where I didn't have anyone to watch my daughter. And he was like, bring her, I'll keep her. And I was like, huh? He's like, bring her. I will watch her. You're trying to go to work. It's not like you're trying to go out and party or anything like that. And he just really stepped up for my kid. So,
Wow.
yeah, it did not affect her because he was right there for her. Like he was her dad. He didn't treat her any different when we did have our kid together. He didn't treat her any different or anything. There was times where he went into a retail store or something like that, and they may not have our daughter size, and he'll bring my daughter back something because they had her size. It was like
Right.
stepdad. That was her. She had two dads. It was no stepdad in it.
I
So
like that, and I like even the way you say there's no stepdad in it, because that's one of my biggest pet peeves, and it's personal to my personal life.
right.
Way I hate the term step, because once you call a person step, it kind of
Right.
separates them from the
The
child.
love
So
is
I
not
really,
there,
really,
you know?
yeah, that
Yeah.
means they don't belong. There's
Right.
nothing there, but just the association with you. So
Right.
not only is he a good dad or a good father, he's a hell of a man because that's it takes a hell of a man to love someone else's child. So hats
Yeah,
off
I
to
agree.
him if he's
I agree.
watching or whatever he does watch, because not enough of our cultured men. I don't think men as a whole, but particularly the culture men are the ones that bother me the most, the men of few, because they're the ones who look like me. So it just would be great to see more like that so that
Right.
so many children won't be affected by the contrary. Because a lot of children are affected by these types of situations. And that's what makes him so even more great because um, like well, I guess we'll talk about that a little bit later, like about my life. I'm just gonna kind of let everyone kind of introduce themselves. So we have Lavanya on. Hey, Lavanya, and we have Sherry on. So
Hi.
now we have three, and then there were three, and then there were four of us, should I say? So, so we're just gonna all chit chat and have this conversation because I think a lot of times we're not thinking about the effects that it have on our children when we're having children from the man that we choose. Because in a lot of cases, children want to see their parents together, and I don't think
Yes.
we account for that.
Yes.
And although I can't be with your daddy because he's an asshole or whatever, there might be another reason why I can't be with him. I have to think about, I should have, I guess I would say, thought about how it would have affected the kid
Right.
and in that situation. So, just like this is a really good topic, I think.
And
And
I
I
was
think
that
we're gonna have
kid.
some, huh?
I was that kid. So that's
Yes, see,
why,
she was
like,
that kid.
yeah. So when Sheba told me about the subject, man, I was so emotional about it. Sheba was like, "You have to be on my panel." I'm like, "I don't know if I'm ready to talk about this," but it's therapy. To talk about it, it's kind of therapy because,
Yeah.
man, I'm a grown 38 years old woman, but it affected me for so long to the core.
Okay.
And because of that experience, when I see it happen, I kind of trying to talk to parents about it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just the part that you have to talk to your kids.
Right.
And it's that communication that was so missing because I felt like that my parents felt like she's gonna get over it, or at some point she's gonna understand, or every there's a lot of other people that go through it, but I'm not other people.
Right.
I didn't get over it that easily. I was that child that needed that conversation. I was that child that had the dream, oh, maybe one day my parents are going to be together and stuff like that. So it affected me to the core because it was a situation where my mom and my dad only had me. And it was my mom's first relationship ever. But my dad had his whole life planned with another woman already, and she was just like that one time thing, and I happened. So my mom was heartbroken about it. So her on her side, she tried to move on as quick as possible. Like, okay, I gotta find me a man and show him that I can make it without him and that type of stuff. So
Mhm.
she left me because I was like the kind of the burden. Like it's not gonna be as easy to move on. It's gonna be easier to move on if I don't have you around. So you stay with your grandma, which was my dad's mom. And even though I was with my dad's mom, he had his. Now he got married. Me and my brother, we like maybe 2, 3 years apart. So he got married, and he had promised her to marry her. So he went on with it with that plan, not
Mhm.
thinking that and so I was always the middle one, like not really getting much attention from my dad because he has his family with his wife. That the wife, she's not my mom, so she doesn't, it's not like she doesn't care about me. It's just that it's like you have a mom, you know but I didn't
Right.
really have a mom because my mom, she was pursuing that other love, that she was like, man, I gotta, he's married, so I gotta get married too and do my thing. So I felt like she took the first whatever that came around, and I'm grateful. Like, yeah, she took the first one that came around. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so let's do this.
He was the pacifier.
And then I was stuck in the middle,
Yeah.
and I was stuck in the middle so deep that when I was with my mom, well, actually, I was never really with her because she was now afraid that she's with that man. He's not my dad. I'm a little girl. So
Mm,
she's not too comfortable with, leaving me with him because I'm not his child. And my dad was not too comfortable with that either. So
right,
they had their own feelings, but I didn't fit in their feelings. It's like, okay, you feel like that, but what about me? So
right.
I was like, I was never around my mom too much. So
Mm,
that was that situations. And then there was my dad is like, well, I'm with this woman, I'm trying to build a life for her, I'm married with her, I'm having kids with her. You don't really fit in either. So stay with your grandma. And
mm,
that broke me a lot because
wow,
I just wanted their love. I felt like everybody around me had a mom and dad. That's, you
mm,
as a kid, you see it differently. Now I'm grown, I can kind of see it in a different way. But I
right.
was like, man, I'm not loved. They don't love me. I'm like, I'm always gonna be the burden. I'm never gonna fit in because I don't fit in with my mom. I don't fit in with my dad. My grandma, she's not my parent. And then they were like having kids. So my mom was having kids, my dad was having kids, and I felt like, my gosh, they are so happy. I want that too. I want that the household that has a mom and a dad. And I was so envious of my sisters and brothers for a long time.
Wow.
I didn't understand the feeling when I was a kid. Now I understand what I was feeling now. But it was really rough. It was really rough because I grew up thinking that I was never gonna fit nowhere. I said, if my own parents cannot love me enough to want me around, who's gonna love me enough to want me around? So I grew up
Wow.
with that mentality, and it messed me up for a long time. And all they had to do really is to sit down with me and talk to me about the whole situation, but nobody ever done that. So I went on with my own ideas, my own thoughts, my own, I went on with it for a long time to the point that it was my reality now. So
Mm,
when I was old enough, they felt I was old, and I was like in my teenagers years, like 15, 16 years old. That's when they want to talk to me about it. And it was not even a clear conversation. I'm Haitian. Some Haitian parents are very like communication zero. It's like, figure it out. I
right.
figured it out, so you're gonna figure it out. But I was a very emotional child. I was very emotional, and I was smart. I was that type of child that ask a lot of questions, that dig in, that go in old pictures in those old boxes and trying to
Right.
find stuff about them. Like I was that child. I wanted answers, and I
Right.
got the answers very late, and it messed me up.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah,
What's most amazing about it is because I think that every culture assumes that they're the only culture. I
I
think as a,
know it's true. It's not.
I think culture, I think people of melanin have an issue with explaining shit to their children. We don't have conversations like Caucasian people. They tell that sometimes they talk to their children too damn much, but
Yeah.
Okay.
it works because at least the child know what the deal is. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Where as with us, it's like you do what I say, not what
And
I
that's
Ask
do.
it.
question.
Right. Don't ask no questions. You do
One day
this,
you're
this,
gonna
that.
figure it out.
Yeah. And it's almost just like when people go to church. It's the same soup warmed over. You go to church, you don't question God, you just kind of do it. But at the end of the day, if you don't question that mean and you begin to have answers that are never really clear, but then you grow up as we grow up as people and we don't learn to communicate either because that disconnect always kind of remains. So it's really kind
Yeah.
of sad. But it's
Yeah.
for any, I understand the feeling that you have. The only thing is I never really felt it with my parents because I had both of my parents. I felt like that with my siblings because I was my mother's, I am or was, because she's gone now, God rest her soul. But I was her only child. So my sisters and my brothers always had each other. So you have one mom who had eight, the other mom had
Yes.
six.
Yeah.
My mom only had me. My sisters
Yeah.
had two, but they also had others. Their parent,
Yeah.
their mom also had other children. So I always kind of felt like I was that child that didn't really have. I loved them all as my sisters and brothers, and I don't know if I was ever envious of it because I never realized it when I was little. So much I began to feel like that in my adulthood. when I realized that we were really all different. So you dealt with that as a child when you was at that place, and I dealt with that as an adult when I realized that everybody is just a little bit different, and that the parents were the determining factor. Like the mother raised the children, and she, as long as she's there, her their thoughts are their mother's thoughts because we rear them first and we teach them first. So I didn't realize that until we started getting older that I was just the one out of the bunch that was just a lot different than
Yeah.
everybody else. So I overstayed that position that you were in. And it's sad as a child that you had to go through that because there was no way to really decipher because you didn't know anything better.
Yeah. You don't even know what you're going through until like way adult, and you'd be like, oh, that's why I was feeling like this. That's why I was feeling like that. And she, but when you say that you felt like your brothers and sisters, they had each other. That was the big part for me. That was eating me from the inside. I was like, why? Why me? Like they had each other. Like my mom and her kids, she has 4 kids beside me. They had each other. My dad
Right,
had 3 kids beside me. They had each other. I had
right.
nobody. I
Yeah.
had nobody because of decision that they took, and it was okay because now I see it differently because now I have like 7 brothers and sisters, and we don't call each other step. Well, they don't have to call each other, but I don't call them step brothers and step sisters. They don't call me step brothers and step sisters, and I love them, and I feel like it was a gift.
But you're not stepsisters and brothers for the record. They're stepbrothers and sisters to each other. You're not their step because you're their sibling. You just a part of
No,
their mama,
half
and on the
brother,
other side, you're
half
part of the dad.
brother,
Yeah,
half brother. I meant to say half
you're
brother,
gonna
half
say
sister.
half.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
okay.
was the half sister, but
To
they
everybody.
never, yeah, yeah, they never told me that. But I was jealous of that. I was jealous of the fact that
Mm,
they had each other.
that's amazing. Okay, so we're gonna circle back around. We're gonna let Vanya have the floor. Let's hear from Vanya. So hi Vanya, good evening.
Hi, Sheila. Good
And
evening. Hi.
that's right. How my friend? Oh, you my friend. Okay, so Vanya's gonna take the floor and give us her take, and then we'll kind of go, kind of jump back in and have that chit chat amongst us all. So,
All
Well,
right.
give
welcome,
me
Hi,
the
Vanya.
topic
Vanya.
again. Hey, give me the topic again because I want to make sure we on the right topic here. Go ahead.
So the topic is: as women, we don't think about our children. We don't think about our children before we have children with our new man. Like, do we think of the effect that it has have on our children? Being in that position, when you were in that position,
hmm
what were your thoughts in that moment or in those times?
Well, you know, like we're gonna say about the culture. I'm grown. I make the decisions for the household. If I want to have another child with Mr. New Man, then I'm gonna do so.
Right,
So that's kind of how it goes.
right,
Um, you know, when I did have my last child,
I'll be
I
right
was
back.
with his father, and my daughter, she just never could understand why his father was there and hers was not.
right,
Um, I didn't think about having another child and how it would affect my other 2 children that I already had, or the one before that. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like, okay, I'm the adult. I'm making a decision in this household. They'll be all right. But
right,
sometimes they're not all right. Sometimes they're not all right. But I am the type of parent, I try to sit down and I'm very candid with my children. I'm not gonna, hey, tell me how you feel. Say what you want to say. Just don't curse me out. But say what you want to say. Let me know what's on your heart. And sometimes it's just certain situations, circumstances you can't. It's nothing you can do. You know what I'm saying? It's not.
right,
It's nothing I can do. Um, as far as having my daughter's father around, he didn't want to be there. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't tell her
right.
that, but you
Mm.
know, I just think as adults we just make these decisions and we don't really think about how it's going to affect the children. I'm
Everybody.
I'm guilty of it, so I'm just gonna
Agreed.
speak for me. I'm guilty. So.
Right. Yeah. Like for me, I had all my children for me.
hmm
Um, with with my oldest son, the situation was bad with Davi, and I knew that I would never make him feel like me, and that he didn't need anybody else's siblings. He could have his damn own. You know what I mean? His mama got to make the decisions for everybody. So then it was Gabe. And then we were good. We were a couple, me, Davy, and Gabe. So I was the mama, and they were the children. And Gabe's dad wasn't really a bad guy. He probably would have been a great father to Davy. He just was just not a guy that was ever going to stay out of prison.
Mhm.
So there go that was. And I had a thing. I was set on having 7 children, and I was gold at that. I really originally wanted 6. Then I got mad at my oldest sister who thought that and I used to want to be like her. And so when I got mad at her, I figured I want to have 7 now because I don't want to be like a fat ass. So I was going to either start early or stop early or stop later. That's my okay. Because I come from a large family, so I knew I was going to have a lot of children. My Abba had 17 of us, and I thought it made us perfect. Until I realized that we weren't really perfect because everybody involved wasn't good about it. So it was a lot of hurtful and a lot of pain that no one ever thought to say, how would this affect these children if we kind of was in this situation? No one ever stopped to say that. You know, so then I got married. And my husband was really good to my sons. He was okay. No problems. We didn't have no problems. Until my daughter started getting big. I realized he was a damn asshole. And not in the worst way, but I realized that there was a difference in his mind with these children. He loved the kids, but he had a different love for the one that I bear for him. And that was an issue for me.
Right.
And one day I said, motherfucker, don't treat them like that because you didn't have no damn children when you came here. Your oldest son was with his dad. So you don't handle them like that. He was like, what's wrong? I don't know what you mean. Because he have this thing when he would say he don't really know what love really is. Because his family didn't show love the way that he seen me share it. So he wasn't accustomed to that. And to me, the way I share love was love. To him, the way he shared love was love. That wasn't no goddamn love to me. So, I was the wrong, right? Maybe, whatever the case might be. So what he started to do was like my daughter, when she got about 2 or 3, little children when they cry a lot, every time the older siblings bother with them or whatever. So my second son, he was a little mean. Like he didn't take no shit. Like you do something to him, he's gonna get your ass back. So Tamir would fuck with Gabe, and then Gary would fuck with Gabe. So I had to fix it. Hell no. So I told Tamira's ass up one day. We ain't had that problem no more. Not another time in life that we have that problem again. It was all gone. And I
Because
used
you
to have,
addressed it.
huh?
Because you addressed it. You addressed
Yeah,
it.
I addressed the daughter because she was the confusion starter because her daddy was too damn stupid to see what he was doing wrong. He couldn't see himself.
Wait, you addressed the daughter. The 2
I
or
tore
3
her
years
ass up. I tore her ass up so good. Cause see what had happened was then what I told Gary. I said, Gary, listen, stop running to Tamira's aid every 2 seconds. She fucking with these boys. And every time she come to you, you never say what happened. He just jumped to her aid. And originally I assumed it was because she was a girl and they were boys. So at first I kind of understood it a little bit different when she was much smaller. But then Tamira got older and she became a bigger girl. And so one day I said, Gary, listen, you don't stay home long. You don't stay home enough to be fucking with my sons before you leave out that door. You're going to leave out that door one day and I'm going to tear Tamira's ass up. You better not touch her. And one day I'd had about enough. Like them men that beat their women and go to sleep? That's what he did. He started shit with my son and left. And I danced with Tamira that day. I danced with her for about 15 minutes. I tore her ass up. I whooped her so good she was asleep. She slept for 2 hours. I had to touch her pulse to make sure she was asleep. I did. Tore her ass up. She ain't start no more trouble. She ain't tell Gary another time. If your brothers do something to you, you bring your ass to me because your daddy's stupid. And so I used to tell her that. You ain't had to worry about it no more. So But that was the situation for me. A lot of people don't step in to fix those problems
Yeah.
because they don't know the first thing about fixing them. And we tend to say, "Oh, those are his children, though." Well, all of them yours. What the hell you mean those are
Exactly.
his damn children? So I think those are the problems that we're not paying attention to in the situations, and we're not asking the proper questions like, "How are you dealing with this?" The guy was seeing. I asked my daughter. I say, "How would you feel if we like kind of got together?" It's just like, I guess it's okay. This is the one she thinks she can tell me anything, which is good to a certain extent. And I said, "But you don't like him?" She said, "I was okay until he made me wash them dishes that day." So see, I know. Yeah, she was pissed. It was Gabe's day to wash dishes, and he came home one that night, and he said, "Come on, girls, let's go wash dishes." And they all went in the kitchen. He went in. He did something I never did. I was never going to the kitchen to wash those damn dishes with my children. You better get your ass in there and wash them damn dishes when I tell you. So he was
Right.
being hospitable, in my opinion. But her dislike wasn't because he done anything to her. Her dislike was because he made her wash them damn dishes.
Right.
So now, if we were to get together and we were to do something more permanent, I will know that her prejudice is nothing. It's just because he made you wash dishes. It wasn't because I had children with him. It wasn't for anything else. So at least that's the bottom line. So what do we do in that situation when our children have expressed an issue to us and we're not paying attention, because a lot of times that happens.
Mm.
I mean, I just think that when you blending a family together, blending families is hard anyway. But I think that when you're talking to your children and you're asking them questions, because when I brought him into our world, I constantly ask my kids, "How do you feel about him? Is he nice to you? All of that stuff." But people nowadays, they just don't care. They just bring them in and this your new stepdaddy or whatever the situation may be. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that's what the problem is. You asking your daughter, I'm asking my kids, hey, because if they would have told me at any point in time, I don't like it because he hit me or anything like that, he got to go.
For real.
But
Right.
I agree.
What you say, Sherry?
Vanya, that's what I like about your situation is because you talk to your kids and that makes a big difference because they don't have to go with their own thoughts and be like trying to in their mind and you don't know what's going on and they're building all these stories. That's what I did. Like I built a whole story in my head. I said, "Oh, they don't love me. I'm too
Mm,
this, I'm too that, da, 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 da." But the fact that you spoke to them, that's great. That's and you, like you said, it's because a lot of people they don't do that step, and that's a big step, and it's an important step. So
why do you
it's a
think people
difference.
don't? Why do you think people don't talk to their children?
I think they just don't know better. I think my
Yeah,
Okay.
and
parents
I feel
just
like
didn't know better.
I'm grown. I do what I want to do, pretty
Yeah,
much.
they feel
That's
like,
really
yeah, I
what it
don't have
is.
to answer to you.
Yeah, that's really what it is. But the thing that I like about my children is, like I said, they're a little bit older, 11 and 13. They know not to cross me because they know that I'm your mother, I'm not your friend. I'm not your
Right.
homegirl. Don't play with me. They know better. But they will tell me if they don't agree with something because
Okay.
I'm very open with them. I was very spoiled growing up. You know what I'm saying? And it was okay, but now that I'm older, I'm still spoiled. And it's not a good thing. So I do spoil my children to a certain extent, but I try to get them to understand that life isn't sweet. You know, you got to know how to do things for yourself. And that involves like talking to me, that involves expressing how you really feel about things. Don't feel a way about something because I feel that way about something. I want
Mm,
to know how you really feel about it. Don't say, "Oh, mommy, it's okay," because you want it to be okay because mommy think it's okay. No, if it's not okay with you, tell me that it is not okay with you so we can talk about it and we can fix it.
right. But what if you can't fix it? What do you do when you can't fix it? Because some things can't be fixed.
That's true. We'll have to figure out, we have to go another route. Because with me, I don't feel like things cannot be fixed, especially when it comes
Mm,
down to a man, because we a hold. And if you don't accept this whole baby, you got to go. I wouldn't give a damn
You gonna
what
put
you
him out?
got going on.
You gonna put him
Absolutely.
out?
You gotta listen. Let me tell you something about my kids. They're
Right.
mine right there.
Yeah, you're gonna have
I'll
to
go to
go.
war for them.
Will it be something because of something he did, or would you let him go just because the child don't like him? Because that's the
No,
difference. Like to
if if they have a valid reason for not liking them,
okay.
like you said, you see how your daughter was mad about washing the damn dishes. Like that's not a valid reason. If it's like, mommy, when you're gone, he don't treat us right. You know,
Yeah.
he do this or he do that or something like that. Then yeah, your ass gotta go. You
Right.
gotta go.
Because
No,
I
yeah,
was wondering,
that's
yeah.
valid.
Because Lashana, I was wondering, like, what would be a situation for you that, it's, cause like Sheba said, you can, what if you can fix it? Because I'm like you, Lashonda, I really do feel that everything has a solution.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes people just
It's
choose
something
not to
may
fix it,
take a
to
little
choose not
longer
to
to
make that
fix,
decision.
you know,
But I feel like
but I
everything.
feel
What would
like
be an example for you of something that is like, no,
What would be an example of you saying that he got to hit the damn door? That's what
yeah,
you're asking, Sherry?
yeah, because
for
yeah,
me,
Yeah.
like I
And
said,
Vanya, you too. Think about that one, Vanya, while she's answering.
pretty much like I said, with me, if it's valid reasons, if you're not treating my kids fairly, you know, you gotta go. Not over no bull, not making them clean up. If it's just okay, say for instance, let me put say if he have kids and I have my two daughters. If
Wow.
we were blending a family, right?
Wow.
And my kids come to me and say, "Well, mommy, when you're gone, he makes us do everything and his kids don't do nothing."
yeah,
You
okay.
know, that's a problem for me. Don't play with me.
You
It ain't
can
your
mute
kid.
me, Shiva.
Don't play with me. That's a real big problem for me. So when you're not treating my kids fairly or equally, you gotta go. That's just that. That's it.
Right.
I mean, I agree. I
What
mean,
about
that's,
you, Vanya? What's that one thing, or what's those couple things?
I mean, what Lashandra said, absolutely. Um, you know, another thing would probably be for me too is if I was with someone and they weren't trying to connect with my kids. That's a deal breaker
Mm,
too. You know what I'm saying?
I
yes.
'Cause you have some men, they just there for you. They ain't there for the kids.
I
So
agree.
that's kind of a deal breaker for me too, because I come as a package.
Right.
And
I
you
definitely
can't
agree.
connect with them because sometimes it's some men they don't know how to love your children. You know what I'm saying? They don't know how to
Right.
connect with other people's children. It's some people like that, you know what I'm saying? And they don't put any effort forth to try to do it. So that's a deal breaker for me too.
Can I
Right.
step in? But that's what I see how men connect with their children. Like with my second daughter's father, that's what really made me fall in love with him.
Hmm.
Was the way he dealt with his
His
children.
connection he had with his children. How he had never
Okay.
seen a man that just go and get their kids and take them shopping, do everything for them, like without no questions asked. It was one time, it's a story. Um, he got into it with one of his other kids' moms, and she was like, "Oh, like stop answering her phone or whatever." He's like, "Fuck you! I don't care. I keep my kid." We went, got the baby, everything, and she started going to school from my house. So, and she really actually ended up living with us for about 2 years. Like off of that, she just
Wow.
like, I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. I don't care. Keep whatever you got. I'll handle it. So that's what made me like very attracted to him. So before I just say, "Oh yeah, this my boyfriend," and "Oh we gonna be together," whatever. No, I'm gonna watch your moves. I'm gonna watch how you
Right.
handle children and not just your own. You know, if
Right.
you are like pretty much anyone who I have dated, they really love kids, and that's a plus for me. That's what really attracts me to a man when I see that okay, they can deal with kids, and like I said, not just their own. Like, I'm gonna go pick up my nieces and nephews. I'm gonna take them and do this and do that. Like, I'm
Okay.
attracted to that.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, I never really kind of thought about it. I guess now that probably would be something I might think about at this point. Well, I ain't having no more children, I guess, you know. But
Me neither.
but I don't know. When I felt like Gary wasn't being fair, and but the thing with my husband, with my husband is I didn't realize that he couldn't be fair until we was already together for a while. And so his son didn't live here; he lived somewhere else. You know, with the family children, he was okay. I mean, he didn't bring anybody children home. Like he wasn't that type of person altogether. But I didn't realize that he was going to be different until the moment when it all happened. Like he was different. So he popped my son, but when his son came and got out of pocket, he didn't pop him. I told him, "Don't touch my damn son, no damn old bitch, and I'm gonna fuck you up if you touch him." Real nigga.
I know
It
that's
was
right.
just about him damn lie. You
I
know
know.
what I mean? And one day he popped my son with, and I don't hit my children with hangers and shit. And he hit my damn son with that damn hanger. And we was in a toe to toe. One blow, I blow, you move, we move, just like that. You don't
I
goddamn
know
touch
that's
it.
right.
We goddamn. so so I don't know that walking away always is easier because it's not easy for me. So I tend to fight through things, but everybody ain't cut from that type of thread.
And you know what though, Sheba, when it comes to children, and no, that's not negotiable. You know what I'm saying? We
Right, right,
grown. We
right,
can take some stuff and we can,
right,
we can, if you want to keep on taking shots to your chest, cool. But when it comes
Right.
to those kids, my
right,
heart is involved. I still got to walk. You know what I'm saying? Because they
right,
watching you. You're their
Right.
example. You know what I'm saying? If
Exactly.
you have somebody around them that they're not comfortable with or that's hurting them or hurting their feelings, they never gonna forgive you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Feeling
Ever.
like
right.
my mama didn't love me. She loved that man over me. She chose that man over
Oh,
me.
that's a good one.
No,
That one you said it.
I ain't
That
doing
was a
that.
Yeah,
good one.
Lavonia,
I ain't doing that
that
because
I'm right there with you,
that
girl. It's
really,
like there's like if you want to go through it and accept certain things, but when you factor in kids, man,
Right,
nah, that's another level.
right.
That's like that extended relationship. We're talking about that extended relationship. Nah, that's no. You're right. There's no
I agree.
negotiation. It's not
I don't
negotiable.
disagree.
And
I don't disagree,
yeah,
but I
so
will
that I'm
fight.
like
I'm gonna fight before I leave.
yeah, I'm like Lashonda too when she talk about like that's what attracted me in a man is her love for kids, his love for
right,
kids.
right,
Even before I got married, like when I was like dating my husband, that's one of the things that attracted me. Like the fact that he was, oh, I'm gonna go pick up my nephew. It's like you pick up on those things and and,
hmm
and you know those are the things that you cherish in that relationship because
right.
at the end of the day our babies they're listen don't play with my babies, man.
So Auntie Kika came on and says, "Oh, they're going back into last week because that's why I was shaking my head because that's where we were talking about this a little bit last week,
Mm.
in the topic that we shared that we did in the other ladies panel. So that's a good thing there. So y'all can see that, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
well,
see
yeah, we
that.
can see
Yeah,
it. Hi, Auntie
yeah.
Kika.
And so like and I am a little different, and I'm one of those people too, because when I was a kid, um, people did things that they shouldn't have been doing, and I didn't always tell them because I didn't want to see my mama act stupid because I knew she was a little bit nutty. And one day I told, and she lost it. It was so beautiful. It was the most precious thing I'd ever seen in my life because she was really a stickler for respect. You do. The grown people say, don't call grown people lie. I'm looking like that bitch lied, but whatever.
Right.
So sometimes I take my ass whooping because that bitch don't lie on me. And one day a girl hit me, and my abba told me to get her. And if they tell you blah blah blah, somebody bother you. So they bothered me, and I was like, bitch. And then my abba gonna whoop me. Talking about because he ain't tell me to cuss her. You ain't tell me not to either. So I cussed her. But so my mama lost it. I said, yes, I got a team. Now I know somebody working for me.
Right.
So that's why I fight in front of my children. People say, you shouldn't fight. I'm fighting in front of mine. Every last one, all five of them out there know that if you ain't ready for me to fight, don't tell me that shit. I'm losing it. It's gonna be on a first class trip ticket. My children don't even come home and tell me shit about their teacher until they
hmm
have all the facts together. They
Oh
don't
yeah,
need
because they know you're gonna go. They be like, man, my mom's gonna go because they know
yeah.
you.
Yeah, they know I'm a nut. They got one of my daughters, Shamira. She's my feisty one. And her teacher, a lady, was fucking with her one day. I don't know if she was really fucking with her, but she kept calling me. I said, "Listen, lady, don't keep calling me with your shit. Now, if I have to come out there, I'm gonna get you, and I'm gonna get the motherfucker fucking with them. Well, who I'm gonna get? Now, if Shamira out of line, I'm gonna get her ass too." So anyway, I cursed the lady. I ate the lady up. It was ugly. So one day, me and Shamira just having a conversation. I say, "You talk to Miss Ford." The lady called me again. She's like, "Ema, you didn't get her. You didn't get her, did you? Oh, I like Miss Ford." I said, "Well, you talk to her. Don't make her fucking call me." So I'm one of those parents because I gotta get them because I don't want my children fighting their own battles.
Yeah.
So that's my goal.
Yeah.
Is that they always stay respectful. So if I have to ask you to be respectful, I gotta fight your battles.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
only way you know your battle has been fought is that you see me fight it.
Yeah.
Now they don't. My children don't have to see another fight in their life with me and nobody,
Yeah.
because in their mind and their heart they know if I said I'm gonna deal with it, even if I don't deal with it, they don't even know.
Yeah.
They think I dealt with it, even if they don't even see it. So like I know that it's bad. Like people see things and it's bad when you're fighting in front of children and you teach them these bad habits and all of that stuff. Like I get it, you know what I mean. But I think sometimes if we don't show them that we'll go to the battleground for them, unless the situation is just really bad. To
Right.
me, sometimes we try to fix too much sometimes for our children, and we're not allowing them to
Yeah.
learn that everywhere you go. I have been on 150 jobs, literally. Okay, this right. I don't walk off more than I've ever been fired for, but I've been
Yes,
through some
yes.
jobs.
Me too.
Yes, but you know what
You
I've
got me
learned?
beat, but
What, girl? You don't even know. One year, I had so many damn jobs I couldn't even file my taxes. That's how long it took me, like 6 months to get. I had so many jobs, I forgot about the jobs I had. Couldn't even file the damn taxes. Finally filed my taxes, and I was still getting W-2 3 months later. That's how many jobs I had one year. But
You know
I'm
the problem when they say list the last year and you have to put everything and there's no gap and you're like,
damn, you don't even
oh
want to
man,
know. You don't even want to know. But what I've learned is that everybody that I've met on every job, there's one type of that same type of person everywhere you go.
yeah,
Everywhere you go, you're gonna meet an idiot. Everywhere you go, you're gonna meet somebody that's try you. Everywhere you go, you're gonna always
there's
meet
one
those
of
type of
each.
people. Huh?
that's true.
There's one of each.
Everywhere you go. I mean,
That's
every solitary job I've ever been on, I've met the same type of stupid people. The person that I left the last job for. So in my process with my children, my goal is for them to understand that your teacher might not always be proper, and they might not always do it the way you want them to do it, but it's how unbearable is it? Because everywhere you go in life, you're going to meet somebody like that. So then when we try to make those changes for them, even in relationships, I'm not saying that you should ever let nobody molest your child. I'm not ever saying that. I'm not ever saying that you should let a man jack your son up, and you should never do that. But if there's simple things that might not require a new relationship, some things they need to learn to be able to get through. Because otherwise, you got that spoiled child who
Yeah,
becomes an adult who never learned to deal with shit.
no, that's
And I
very
think a lot of times as parents, we're trying to escape that for them. That's what
yes.
I believe we're
No,
doing.
I think it's very important to have our kids experience because there are some challenges and experiences that it makes us grow into the person that we are supposed to handle, like stuff that are ahead of us. So
Right.
it builds strength, it builds resilience, and kids are naturally more resilient than adults, right?
yeah.
And we want to reinforce that with by letting them just go. There are certain things that they have to go through it. And
You
Sheba,
have
we
to.
had that conversation the other day where we were
Yeah.
saying it's not everything that they're not going to be able to experience everything. So
Yeah.
a lot of stuff they're going to experience it through a friend, through a movie, through a book, through other channels. And there are certain things that they're going to have to get their feet wet. you
Yeah.
know. And it's hard as parents sometimes because you want to shelter them, you want to, but we have to have that faith and
I
just
don't
let them.
I don't shelter my kids from a lot of
Yeah,
things because, like I
yeah,
said, I was a very spoiled. I'm a spoiled adult, and it's sad. It's really sad. No,
yeah,
I'm a laughing, but like it's a problem.
yeah,
Right.
So a lot of things I do not shelter my kids from. Like my mom, she loves to try to step in, and we have like really kind of had it out about that because I'm like, Mom, listen, you're gonna have to take a back seat because
Right.
at the end of the day, they are gonna have to go out and live in the real world.
yes,
You know, you're not. I'm not gonna always be there for them.
yeah,
You are not gonna always be there for them. So
yeah,
when they make mistakes, I let them suffer the consequences. Now,
yeah,
if somebody is fucking with them, I'm gonna go toe to toe
yeah.
with you, bitch. I will kill you. I
But
will
that's
run you over.
yeah, but that's great, Lashonda, that you're able to see that and you like, you
But
know what, I don't want that for them.
no,
Yeah.
I let them suffer the consequences because they're kids. I'd rather them suffer the consequences now
Now,
and just
yes,
grow up
yeah,
thinking that, oh, I can just skate through
yeah,
life and get away with this and that, and then they wind up in jail or dead. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. Me, I
because
don't
they
shelter
never
them
had to
for.
deal with any consequences because
Yeah,
they think everything in life is sweet and it is not.
it's
So
not.
yeah, I
It is
take a
not.
step back and
Yeah.
when they do, and I know my children. So if it's something being done, I can kind of like, yeah, that was her. She did that.
Yeah, me too. I'm like,
It's
yeah,
my my
yeah,
kids.
I
I
believe
know them.
her. Yeah,
So I take a step back and I let them suffer the consequences because I need them to understand that
yeah,
I got your back no matter what,
yeah,
through
Right.
whatever. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, you can't just go through life doing shit thinking that, oh, I'm just gonna get away with everything because life
yeah.
don't work like that.
Yeah. Me, see, I don't shelter them, Shonda, for the opposite reason. Like I went through a lot in my life. I had to
Mhm.
figure out a lot of stuff by myself, but because I had that independent, it built a lot of independence to the point
Right.
that I've been raised by several families, and every time that I look at their own kids, when you have the kids, you always get like more work to do. You always have to prove yourself. You have to do more. You have to push more. You have to work harder. And I like that because when I look at my life, I'm like, you know what? I know I know the importance of hard working and pushing forward. Where they like lazy and they crack easily,
Yeah.
where so that's why I know the importance of resilience, and I teach that to my kids. I said, no, you gotta work hard. So for
Right.
that reason, I I don't shelter them because I know the importance of building yourself,
Right.
because otherwise you can crack so easily. It's like, no, you gotta build that, and it's important. Like I was reading an article the other day about like college kids. When they get to college, they don't know how to cook. They don't know how to take care of themselves. They don't know how to do laundry. They don't know how to do none of that stuff. And I'm like, that's very
Right.
like important to teach our kids that. We
Mhm.
think that we're doing them a favor by doing it for them, but no,
Listen,
it's
I
like,
wish my mom could step in here because she'll tell you that monkey, you can cook it yourself. I'll supervise. You can cook
Right.
your I have a 13 and an 11-year-old. They
yeah,
can cook meals because
yeah.
I supervise them. And now my mom also she supervised them as well. They can really make meals. Hell, my oldest daughter probably can cook breakfast better than I can,
And that's a
to be
great
honest with
skill,
you.
Lashonda. That's a
Because
great skill.
I want them to understand you have to be independent.
Yeah.
Like, because like I said, I was really spoiled. And girl, I felt like the damn world owed me everything. And that's not a good way to no, it's not a good way to be. But I had to get older and realize that, and I just don't want them to have to walk those same shoes because it's hard. It's
It is.
hard.
It
Like
is.
really feeling like, oh, the world, or in the world don't owe you shit. Nobody
Yes,
don't owe you nothing.
yes.
Nobody
And
owes you nothing.
yes, and that's a
But
hard lesson to teach our kids. Nobody owes you nothing.
right.
I,
But
as
hey,
your parent,
I
don't
had to
even
learn it.
owe you nothing. But
Exactly.
because you're my child and I love you, I do that extra step. But I
Right.
don't even owe you nothing.
Right.
You got
Right.
here. I did my part.
So independence,
Yeah.
teaching my kids independence is very like it's one of like the top.
Yeah.
at my list because of I don't want them to have to walk the same shoes. The thing that really saved me is because I'm spoiled, but I'm very rebellious. Tell me
Why do
I
you keep
can't
calling
do
yourself spoiled?
because I am. I really am. Not
Because people
so
say I was
much,
spoiled, but I wasn't spoiled.
not so, whatever, Sheba. You probably just don't want to admit it. You, but girl, please stop acting like I don't know you. But
I
anyway,
don't feel
moving
like I
on.
was spoiled. Vanya, I was spoiled.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Yes, yeah,
Like, well,
yeah.
maybe because today, this praise Yahweh, I got a new computer, and today I realized today maybe I don't know if I was really spoiled, but I never bought myself a computer. This is my first one. My mama bought the last one, and it just went kaput on me. She bought my very first computer, and she bought the very last one before the one I bought today. I never bought a computer for myself, but it was a lot of things. It was a lot of time where we didn't have it. So whenever she had a chance to get it, she made sure I had it too. That
Yeah.
made me spoiled.
Yeah,
It
I don't
just
think that's the level of sport that Lashonda talking about.
people just thought I was spoiled. I wasn't really spoiled.
See, let's just move on, okay? We gonna agree to disagree on that one. Moving right along because you were,
Yeah.
you
I
really
was
were.
well provided for.
Spoil girl, whatever, however you want to put it. Okay. Oh, that's what I'm gonna start saying. No, I wasn't spoiled. I was just
I was
well
well
provided
provided
for.
for.
Okay, thank you.
But
I
I
gotta
knew
do
I
it to
wasn't
phrase
gonna
that.
do. I knew I wasn't gonna do some of that shit E my did for me for my children. What I was never gonna be doing is ironing for no damn 17-year-old. You listen what you want. If you want to iron your clothes, you better get your ass in there and do it. I never even showed them how to iron. I don't like to iron. My mama ironed for me till I was
Oh, so
17.
your mama ironed your clothes, but you was spoiled.
No, that was what she wanted to do.
I remember you being an adult and your mama was still
Yeah.
ironing your clothes.
I'm
Yes,
starting
it
to
was.
agree with Lashonda here.
Mhm.
I'm just saying.
I was, but I don't know. It made her happy.
It is.
It made you happy too.
It made her satisfied. Listen, the lady, I was just talking to my friend, and I had some friends over today. We hanging out, and I pulled some shoes out the closet. My mama wanted me to have them shoes. She did. She wanted
Complicated.
them shoes for me.
But see, that level of spoil, only your parents can do that.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
step parents don't do that.
Right.
No, that's because they
And
fucked up.
people that just taking care of you, they don't do that. And I don't care how much they love
I
you.
would no.
No, my mama
I
did it
gotta
for other
disagree
people.
with step parents because my I was a stepmom for a long time. Like I said, one of his daughters
Oh,
actually came to live with us, and I'm not with her dad anymore. But still, to this day, I speak to her often. You know,
Wow.
she's about to have a baby soon, and
oh,
I went to her graduation. She still addresses me by mommy because she tells like even to this day
Oh,
she sent me this whole paragraph was like, you know, I had you when I didn't have anyone else because you know
that's
her
nice.
dad had kids, her mom had other kids, so she kind of felt like you in a situation where you like, who do I have? I don't have nobody. So then that's where I swooped in and I just used to take her and do things with her because I wanted her to also feel like you are special to me. You know, I love you no matter what. I don't care because okay, your mom doing what she doing, your dad doing what he doing, but you always have Lashandra, you always have me. And to this day, like I said, she's grown now. She's 18 because my kid daddy is older than me. I like old man, whatever. Anyway, but
hey, that's the topic for next week.
but like she loves me and she still has a major level of respect for me because I was always there for her and I never treated her any different. Like
Right,
that's my baby. Still to this day, regardless. Anything if she needs anything, I'm still if I can, it's her. So
right.
like I said, that step thing that don't exist to me at all.
I love it.
Not
I
in
love
my
it.
book. And then if I'm with someone, if you treat my kids as your step kids, then I'm not the woman for you. And that's just it is
Mhm.
what it is.
That
It-
might be a
no,
good topic for if you treat my children like your stepchildren and you ain't
yeah,
the one for me. Kiss my
not at
ass.
all.
That's a good one.
Not
But
at all.
Lashonda, it takes women like you that are but
Call
you
it.
know, yeah, it takes women like you, Lashonda, that will be like, okay, this is what I go by. But a lot of women, they just worrying about their next relationship. They don't care about all that stuff. It's like, I like him, so you just gotta
Listen,
get used to it,
I
and
love my
that
kids.
hurts.
I was telling my friend earlier that I was like, a lot of people are complaining about their kids being home from school. I don't think I want my kids to go back to school. To be honest with you, I kind of like the at home thing a little bit better. I am kind of, maybe I'm a little overprotective of them, you know. So I kind of like when they home because I know that ain't shit going on. And I know
You
they're
know where
safe.
they at, right?
So and but it's like our bond has got like better. You know, they're not aggravating me
Yeah,
when they're home. I'm loving it. Like
yeah, me
more
too.
that
Me
they're
too.
home. It's like I'm falling in love with them. I was going on my phone looking for my birthday was yesterday. So
Yeah,
Oh,
happy belated birthday.
it's
Oh,
my
goodness.
daughter's birthday
oh
today,
my
Lashonda.
thank you. And I was looking on my phone for things for myself to do. And I was like, oh, let me see. Let me find something for me and the kids to do because it's just like, I don't know. It's like every day, like I'm just falling more in love with being a parent to my children. Like I just want to do
Oh, that's
everything that
yeah,
I can with them.
yeah.
Well, mine home, and I don't mind them being home. And it is actually showing me how much they don't clean up my damn house. Because my son just told me I don't whoop my daughters enough. He said, you don't whoop them enough. Because me and Davi got far more whoopings than them. And you know what happens is I come up the stairs and I come directly in my bedroom because I have a
Mm,
door that leads in. So I
mm,
have my own refrigerator, I have my own food in my bedroom,
Yeah.
you know. And if I had a place to put a toaster oven, I never would go out because then I could cook. But I call them a lot. Unless I have to go in that kitchen, I don't realize how horrible they are. But I do love it that they're home because
right.
it does kind of give you that connection that you miss because they're gone all the time. And you're gone. And by the time you come home from work, you're exhausted. And now you get to deal with them on a more daily basis. So I can agree with that as well.
Right. You can hear me?
I can hear you, but I don't know what
Oh,
happened
okay.
to
What's going
everybody else.
on? Yeah, I don't know.
I thought maybe it was something I did. But yeah, so I don't know. This has really been a really good topic. And now you just gave me something else to talk about because, how do we apply step to family? Because that step mechanism should never really come up in families. And I thought that was really powerful when you said it. So we'll probably do that one. But next week, we are doing the next week topic about girls who like older men.
Mm,
Yeah, it's gonna be the next one.
that should
You
be
want?
good.
Would you want to sit on that panel, Vanya?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I don't know, I like mine toasted.
I mean, I've had my share of but
The toasted fellas.
they don't act right either. So no,
They don't.
Oh,
They
they don't. They really don't. You see,
girl, girl.
I told y'all I
Listen,
was 4, so I was getting, I was getting what I wanted. But far as really acting right,
they worse than
it's
a
either
damn
in
young
you.
boy.
It's either in you or it ain't. It has
right?
nothing
Because
to do with
they
age.
don't. Because
It
I've
has
been seeing
nothing
people
to
like
do with age.
older men. Some of them older men worse than the young men. So yeah,
Oh, we're gonna have a good time next week. Yes.
Yeah.
Listen,
Ooh,
I had the greatest bout with that old fella, that toasted fella. The greatest bout.
what you saying? Toasted?
Yeah, because toasted, you age quick in the toaster. So
Oh,
toaster,
okay,
you
toasted.
know.
Okay.
mm.
Oh my God, that was funny to me. They know they ain't no damn good. They know they toasted too. And be the main ones ask you for every damn thing, he ain't shit. These guys, something else. So this is amazing. I really love it when we get together here on the panel because I think there's a lot of things and a lot of questions that people don't readily ask because a lot of times people don't think that it's necessary to ask them, or they have already seen them done another way. So it's almost like they assume that that's the way they're really supposed to be done. So when we come together on the panels, I really appreciate you guys for taking your time hanging out with me and hanging out with the viewers, because there's always, if one person has the question, 100,000 more people have the question, and maybe even more. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of things that we don't think about as individuals, especially when we're younger, because a lot of things have changed for me in my older days. Like, as I got older and become more mature and decided I wasn't fighting about certain things and I wasn't going to give problems in other situations. So a lot of things have changed for me. And I look at other people's situations. What made me pick up this topic, because it never really even occurred to me in my own children. But my daughter does express that she want me to be with her Abba, but he might not be proper for your mother at this point. You know what I mean? And I love him as a person, but I don't want to be with him no more. Like that ship has sailed, and you know what I mean? I've raked that shit out and took it out, and I'm over it already. I never want to see anything bad happen to him. But for my life, he just no longer belongs. Exactly. And I know that it hurts her.
Outgrow people.
Correct. Or situations. Right. For me, it was the whole situation, because but my husband he stayed true to being Gary all those years. I was married for 10 years, and he was Gary from the day I met him until the day I told him I was done. And I walked away because I was judging him for being exactly who he had been for 10 years, really 11. So I felt like I was wrong.
Right there.
Right.
You said a word right there. We get with people and we expect them to change and be this wonderful person, but this is who you met. You can't. The only way a person is going to change is if they want to change. That's it. You cannot change anyone. You said a word right there. For
it's
real.
all on them. It's all on how they perceive things. It's all on how they deal with things, and it's a really big thing that I think we know that, and I think even in our relationships, like if we walk away, we know we're walking away for the proper reason. But if it does involve our children, we need to know that was the reason why we walked away. My husband killed me 2013, December 25th, 2013. Now me and Garrett had some toe-to-toe fights, and I never thought I could beat him. I just was never afraid of him. But this particular day, he struck my ass first and got the best of my ass. It wasn't no hitting that bitch back. I was done. And my son jumped in because he saw that I could no longer protect myself. And my husband turned around and hit the kid, and that was it.
Yeah.
It was no more. It was no going back at that point, because you hit the kid. Yeah. Now I could have dealt with a lot of other things, but he hit the kid. So that was a turning point for me, because now I have a 17-year-old and a person who has been true to himself since I met him. So now I got two men in the same house, and that wasn't really gonna happen. That wasn't gonna be able. I didn't know how it was gonna work. I couldn't foresee it. I couldn't judge what the future would hold, but that I could see them fighting again. So I had to make that determination that wasn't going to be really good. But I think a lot of times people aren't really thinking about the things that we have, these little thoughts, which is what I think we're doing when we have our children. We're having thoughts, but we're not processing it in the process of thinking. So we're not realizing how everybody is being affected by it. Sometimes we get in a relationship with these brothers who are jealous of your children, which becomes another issue. And a lot of women have been through so many things, and they have been through so many men, so they settling now. We begin to settle because you get tired of chasing. You just get tired of changing, but you don't want to be by your damn self. You get tired of fucking yourself. You want a man that can do it for you. And so sometimes
girl. What's your poem, Sheba?
What makes you the man? Because you got a dick. Because with the 5 fingers on my right hand, I take care of my own shit. Get me a pillow, nigga. Come in with the cover, and the only thing will be missing is your ego undiscovered. What you
I
think
know
of me,
that's
huh?
right.
Girl, you took me back.
That's my favorite. Yes, ma'am. That is
That
my
was funny.
favorite.
Thank you for that one.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, so we go through these things, and we're in this life, and so these things I think are very helpful to a lot of times I'm on these lives, and my soul is being fed, and I'm picking up a lot of things that I just never even thought about for myself. So
Yeah.
what they do is they create other topics, like you just created a new one, a new topic for another week. Maybe after we do these older fellows and these younger women, and what we think they're looking for when they get us. You know what I mean? They praying, they start chasing us. You know what I mean? So whatever, that's another story. We're gonna talk about that next week. But I want y'all to know how much I really appreciate y'all once again for coming on. If there's any topics that you want to talk about that we could, kind of actually come and bring to the panel so we can share with other women, so we can share with other people, we can share with these brothers so they'll know some things about us that we don't really always have the time to tell them because they don't want to hear us when we with
Right.
them. Everybody
Right.
feel like you're attacking their manhood because he
Right.
haven't become clear about it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
so we do have people like they make comments but no solid questions for us this evening to really answer, not that we haven't already talked about or whatever. So I guess it'll be the next time. Hopefully I'll see you guys here again. Thank everyone for tuning in. Thank you all Facebook family and all of our YouTube family and friends. We'll be here next week. This is Sheba. I'm your happy bug. Thank you for joining in with us on Talk Tuesdays, and we'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your night.
Bye.